You ever wonder why a perfectly sane person would try to run 100 miles all at once? Me too. It wasn't my idea, though. It was my friend Jayson's. For 6 months leading up to race day, this was my life every Saturday. Wake up early and wait for my friend Jayson to drive 10 blocks to pick me up, go to the mountains, and run. We didn't sleep in, we didn't have brunch with our girlfriends, we didn't play frisbee in the park, and we didn't sip coffee and read the news. We ran together, for hours. And every Saturday, we ran longer and longer.
How you used to be great. I can't hate on how you choose to relate.
We didn't know much about running ultramarathons, but we learned one thing very quickly.
Why you wanted to let go. A lot of pressure in the middle of those shoulders, and we ain't getting nothing but older.
Jayson and I are not lifelong runners, or really even runners. We met during college at the University of Northern Iowa, while both of us were working as bartenders at an Applebee's restaurant. We became drinking buddies, and after college, we always stayed in touch. We grew up a little bit and eventually ended up living in the same neighborhood in Denver. The only reason I got into ultra running at all is because Jayson's a great storyteller.
He's now swinging a hammer at all of us, right? Where did the big gulp go on a motorcycle? You'll never believe who punched me in the face 3 times. That Hungry Bear. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, Drew's mom.
One day in August 2015, I took him out for pizza while he told me about how horrible his long trail run had gone that day.
Have my shirt off, I'm poured in sweat, no water. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do?
It sounded like just what I needed. I don't even like running, but I like challenges, especially when they're big and scary enough to get me off the couch. We signed up for a couple of shorter races. If you look it up, you'll find that an ultramarathon is any race longer than a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. They usually start at the 50K distance, which is 31 miles, and then the 50-mile distance, and then 100K, which is 62 miles, and then the races that are 100 miles or longer. We tried the shorter distances, got our asses kicked in every way you can imagine, and barely finished before the cutoffs. If we tried a 100-mile ultramarathon, we'd be extreme underdogs.
I'm signing up to run a 100-mile race.
Why are you doing that?
Because I love suffering and running with your ugly ass.
What do I gotta do it to?
I had no doubt it was going to be the hardest thing I'd ever done. But Jayson has this way of convincing you can do things you don't think you can do. He told me a long time ago that you should never think about why you can't do something. You should think about how you can do it.
My mom was definitely the first role model that I saw be put in a really horrible situation and still push forward. What she did was truly remarkable.
Hey, Mom.
When I was in 3rd grade, my mom divorced my dad.
And really didn't have a stable environment.
She had to figure out how to feed 6 kids.
There was a lot of time spent from us moving from one house to my mom getting evicted to then when we went and lived in an abandoned women's shelter. Basically, we were homeless.
But I never saw her give up. So I found out I was dyslexic early on in grade school. And one of those things that you don't know exactly what's going on, you just know that you're different. They're also then labeling you as like slow, stupid, or dumb. So then you start getting picked on.
There was a bully that always picked on me. And one day in front of the principal's office, he decided to slam my books to the ground. And this was the last time I was having that.
I had to jump up to put him in a headlock. And after that, every grade until my senior year, I got kicked out of school for fights. I became known as a fighter. I got into wrestling through failing in basketball. For the first couple of years, I sucked horribly. I didn't win a match for the first 2 years. Until finally, in 8th grade, I won my first match. So by my freshman year in high school, me and some of the other freshmen, we all made varsity. And wrestling in Iowa was a big deal. And so it sort of taught me, like, sticking with something, you can accomplish something.
I walk into the guidance counselor's office my senior year, trying to figure out how does one go to college. So I asked him some basic questions, to which he said, college is not really for people like you, Jayson. You just sort of need to get a job, work your way up the ladder. And I just left the office. I was in my head like, you dude, you don't have a clue what I can do.
The guidance counselor turned out to be wrong. Jayson failed to complete the ACT because he couldn't read fast enough. He went to community college and then got a bachelor's degree. And then he started knocking on doors for a political party. Then he managed a winning U.S. congressional campaign, and then he directed Nevada's first ever presidential caucus. In 2017, he left politics to become a motivational speaker and coach, which made sense to me since I'd been getting free life coaching from him for 17 years now. Jayson's built his life philosophy out of taking on hard things and succeeding by not quitting. But running 100 miles was different.
What if it shut him down? I certainly wasn't that confident in us.
Sometimes I think I'm not really inspired to run today. And I think, my dad got up to go to work every day.
Yeah.
Just 42 years at 5 a.m.
Exactly.
I bet he wasn't inspired a lot of days.
You have to run a lot of miles before you can run 100 miles. As is true in many things in life, trying is a good way to learn. And we learned a few truths about ultra running. You don't have to run the whole time.
I'm walking this.
You get to eat a lot. But all that food goes somewhere.
You got it, you're almost
Eventually, you'll probably have to poop somewhere you don't want to.
Where are you going? I'm gonna go take a jet. Oh, well, enjoy. Oh, that looks rated R. Okay.
Remember, there's no toilet paper in nature.
How was it?
Dude, that was a rookie mistake.
What happened?
I tried to wipe with some of those dry pine cones.
It just broke off.
It's just a rookie mistake. It's not good.
Look at all these rocks. Why did you try to use the pine
There
cones?
wasn't many rocks.
You gotta pick them up.
You often will have to run when you don't want to.
Yeah.
19.57.
If the schedule says you have to run 20 miles on Saturday, you don't stop after 19.6 miles. Parts of your body will hurt often.
Are you actually chafing right there?
Yeah.
With chapstick?
Your joints, your muscles, your ligaments and tendons will rebel. The pain will not go away, but it will move to other places. One day your foot hurts, the next day it's your hip, or your knee, or your ankle, or your toenails. You'll try anything to make it hurt less. Ice, space-age lubricants to prevent chafing, eating raw turmeric root. Yeah, I know. Foam rollers, which are home torture devices for athletes. Even stretching. When people say, wow, 100 miles, that's a long way to run, I feel like saying, no shit, I had to run 1,200 miles before the race even started.
I've been running for 45 years. I've been doing ultras for 25 years. And so what I'm going to tell you is not a pep talk. It's the plain truth. 100 miles is really fun.
I'm pretty sure everybody at the starting line of this race is more qualified to be here than us. I'm terrified, but at least we're doing this together. Most people don't plan on running the entire race with their friend, but that's what we're doing.
It's harder than you think it is, and it's going to hurt more than you think it will.
Real friends show up for each other, especially when it's the dumbest thing you've ever done.
The Run Rabbit Run isn't the easiest race to do for your first 100. It's 102.9 miles long with 20,000 feet of elevation gain, or roughly 4 New York City marathons, plus 18 trips up and down the stairs of the Empire State Building. And you have to finish in 36 hours, the official final cutoff time.
So here we go.
I think Run Rabbit Run is deceptively difficult. 100 miles is a journey. You're going to spend the night out. You're gonna experience, you know, everything that comes with being out for 24, 30, maybe 36 hours. I think a lot of races start and finish in the same place, but when you arrive back to that same place, it feels like a lot of shit has gone down. The hills there are steep. You know, you're settling into a 2,000-foot climb or a 3,000-foot climb, and it doesn't level off the entire time.
Almost to the top of the gondola. How do you feel?
Pretty amazing.
That's 1 hour.
1 hour in.
You're like mile 3, mile 2.5?
Yep. 38 and feeling great.
Don't stop moving. There's no reason to. You can pee while you're walking. You can eat while you're walking. You can cry while you're walking. I am proof that you can puke and walk at the same time. There's no reason to stop.
Every year, on average, about 1/3 of the people who start the race don't finish. Our race started with 242 runners, and 95 of us would drop out. We didn't care about speed. We just wanted to finish.
Your muscles are sore, that happens. If you're tired, that happens. You know, if you threw up 5 times, that happens. That is a part of running 100 miles. Like, commit to seeing those grievances through.
My name is Sid Jones. I'm a friend of Brendan and Jayson. Known those guys for 7 years or so. The things that I really enjoy doing is knowing what they need before they know they need it. So when they're, I don't know, 10 minutes away, I'm sort of frantically trying to think of, if I were at this point of a race, of a run, what am I gonna need? You know, am I probably gonna need some body glide? I'm probably gonna need to refill my water bottle. I'm probably gonna need a hug.
Nice work, guys.
Thank you.
722. Thank you very much. All right, guys.
This burrito's kind of cold.
It's a little cold. You want me to heat that up for you? Yeah. There you go. Now it's nice. At this point, they thought they might actually be a couple of hours behind, but they're so on pace. It's been a perfect day so far. A little hot right now. They're a little hot.
I think I might walk in about 5.
It's easy to feel optimistic when you're 1/3 of the way there. But in the back of your mind, you know eventually that the wheels will start falling off.
No, and I have to be drinking some fluids. A little bit sweaty. Thankful for the shade that we got going on right now.
I would say I do not feel 100% right now. Going up this. Sun's getting lower. Almost 11 hours in.
Not sure of the miles.
Still having fun.
Still having lots of fun out here.
Lots of power hiking at this point.
I'm a bit concerned about tonight when it gets cold, but they'll be warm.
Gotta come, right?
I hope.
Hour 12.
Hour 12.
Coming into the Olympian Hall aid station in a second here.
Headline patrol.
Mile 42. It's
that right?
Yeah, 41.9 or something.
People tell you that the night is the hardest part of a 100-mile race. It's dark for 12 hours, it's cold, and your world is reduced to the little bubble of light from your headlamp. In the grand scheme of an 18-year friendship, 36 hours is nothing. But this is the start of the most intense 24 hours of our relationship. And I think we both kind of know it, but don't want to say anything.
Check in. Yeah, awesome.
All right.
Great. We're going into the dark, into the night, obviously, as it's night outside, and we are going to Long Lake, which is back up where we came down earlier, about 10 miles. It's actually it's going to be a pretty interesting climb because that was rugged on the way down, so navigating at dark.
They had a snack, good snack, changed their clothes, got a little dry, got a little warm, had some hot broth, some hot soup, so they warmed up a bit. I think they're doing good. They might decide to slow their pace down a little bit, which is probably a smart thing at this point. Jayson seems like he's in really good spirits. Brendan might be lagging just a little bit, but I think he's realistic about their time goal now, which is a good thing.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Brendan, way to go, man. Don't forget to turn on your headlamp, Jayson. Yep.
See you soon. Thanks.
See you later, man.
Yeah, heading into the mountains. Here we go. Lots of fun.
I feel much better after everybody force-fed me.
Yeah.
Do you?
You're a stubborn bastard.
I just felt like shit.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Oh.
You're a stubborn guy at times. They had to force feed you. You should have been eating.
I think they're about 2 hours late, is what Hillary had said that Kate had sent her a message. So that's kind of disconcerting, but
yeah, it says they checked in at 8, I think, but I think they left around 8:40.
Okay.
So 9, 10, 11, like 3.5 hours for 10 miles.
Hour 19, 3 a.m. Just left the Summit Lake aid station. Mile 57. We're jogging.
Trying to jog a little downhill action.
Make up a little time. 4 a.m., hour 20. Doing a little blister repair here.
Oh, it's like the darkest part of the night for these guys, I think. And it's just brutal watching their posture, and they really do look like zombies, but yeah.
Good job.
Nice job, runners.
Hey guys.
oh,
It is you.
they're so late.
Sorry.
Oh,
You're doing great.
do you want to keep running?
Okay. Wow.
See it.
Where am I looking? Right there. Oh yeah. So I had a mole skin on it. I know it's in the worst. I've never had one there.
Yeah, it feels very slow at this point in the night. It's like every time an hour goes by.
That was around your waist, okay.
Good.
Oh my god. We're gonna be out here like 36 hours.
Brendan, I think it's over here.
She said when we're just ready to go up, like upstairs or up.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you.
It's all good.
Brendan? All right.
Out back, guys.
Now I'm starting to drag. We've been moving for 21 hours, and there's no way you're gonna feel good at this point. But Jayson and I have a sort of unspoken agreement. He keeps moving, so I keep moving.
It's time to pace. We've been ready to go up and pace them since like 2, more or less.
Those guys should be coming in about 45 minutes an hour. It's been 24 hours.
8 a.m. on Saturday. We've been moving for an entire day.
As happens in these things, not everything's going to plan.
This is one of the worst goddamn ideas.
We made it through the night, and you'd think the sunrise would be this big, hopeful moment. But look at Jayson. He's limping, and we still have 29 miles to go. But nobody's talking about quitting. Who's the stubborn bastard now? This is the guy who lost a full 2 years of wrestling matches before he won one.
I pee when Brendan pees. Hey, I'm bringing humor right now. We need it, okay?
What is this thing in front of me?
Brendan's doing awesome. I try and ask him. I care about him. I don't know what goes on over there.
Yeah.
But you just keep pushing the bar of the hardest thing I've ever done further and further out, and all those hard things become way less hard in retrospect. So this is probably going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. What are you guys doing now? Cheap drink. It's an electrolyte drink made of potato chips. How's the chip drink? Phenomenal. It's salt and vinegar.
52.
What?
I feel like I have the energy to bring it home. Just everything's flunked. Flunked out.
At mile 74 or so, Jayson's ankle started to really hurt and become swollen. So he's trying to troop it out. And hopefully we finish before the cutoff. He's tough, but I would be lying if I didn't say it was not giving me some anxiety.
They're both pooping right now at the same time.
Let's be clear here. I'm ready to quit. Everything hurts, and this is not fun. I hate running, I hate mountains, and I hate this fucking sandwich. But we still have a couple hours until the final cutoff, and we can still walk.
This is how this happened. What's up? That's what's happening now. Yeah, because look, I can take these steps that are much easier on the shin.
Do it then, man, yeah.
Want to have as much fun suffering? Why not?
You want to get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches cut in fours?
Why not? Want to have the tip of your private parts chafing? Why not?
I know those are two of the most stubborn guys I've ever known in my life. And if anybody can make it together, those two together are gonna get across. But I think they're in pain. I think they're hurting.
We're gonna be down there by 7. You know?
45 minutes to go 4.5 miles? Walking backwards? Maybe you're going 2? Our pace, I can just tell you guys, our pace is 30-minute miles right now. Okay. So yes, 2 miles an hour. Yeah. We'll be down there in 2.5 hours. We'll be past the cut. It'll be 8:45. You guys are gonna have to run, I think.
You'll be there.
We're starting to worry about these guys. We were getting text messages that they were hurting, in bad shape. I'm worried, to be honest with you. I'm really worried. I know they want to come in under 36 hours, but I'm kind of worried that
I'm telling you,
it's going to be really, really close.
This is happening. What do you mean this is right? I'm gonna get down this mountain.
I know you're running.
I guess when your friend is also your hero,
It's like overhanging something.
sometimes you just do what he does.
What so? Okay.
Not everyone finishes an ultramarathon under the cutoff time. But Jayson's whole life has been based on not quitting.
Jayson Sime from Denver, Colorado, finishing 100 miles. Let's go, baby, all the way, all the way. Oh, we got 2 finishers. Yeah. The winner, oh God. I need another medal. Coming down the road. Tough. Got it? You are one tough dude. Come on, let's go sit down. You want to sit down? And from Larkspur, Jeremy Hedges is bringing it in before the cutoff also. Jeremy Hedges from Larkspur, Colorado. You can sit there and sit down. It's okay.
We don't always run together on Saturdays anymore, now that we finished our 100-mile race. Maybe we'll do another one someday. Maybe we'll just be proud we did one at all. Whatever happens, I always remember one thing I've learned from Jayson. When you're a kid, they tell you you can do anything. Most people stop believing that at some point. Jayson never has stopped. Maybe I shouldn't either.
I think it's great how you used to be great. I can't hate on how you choose to relate, but I know that you had the potential. I understand why you wanted to let go. A lot of pressure in the middle of those shoulders, and we ain't getting nothing but older. Ain't nothing changed but the day we run from, but nobody knows it better than you, huh? 1 for the bar tab, 2 for the shine. Just go to your car and do another line. Barely trust them, they're all puppets. Love is nothing, scared of success. 1 for the bass, 2 for the drums. Last call, gonna take whatever comes. Barely trust them, they're all puppets. Love is nothing, scared of success.